Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Mission Series Bossk and IG-88 2-pack. Alright you guys, so here is the packaging for this set. This set came out earlier this year as one of the new Mission Series 2-packs. And of course, Mission Series, just like the Saga Legends figures, are the 5-point of articulation figures that cost less than the 3 3/4 inch Black Series figures. So the packaging is within the Rebels Saga Legends style. Now, distribution on many of these sets was very hard to find. I never found this set at retail, so I did have to get it on Amazon. Luckily, it was at MSRP, so, wasn't a big deal, but I did have to wait a while to get it at that price, which is only a few months back. The back of the box gives you a look at the famous bounty hunter scene from The Empire Strikes Back. Alright you guys, and here are our little buddies out of the packaging. Let's go ahead and kick things off with Bossk. So Bossk looks quite good. It's definitely a throwback to the vintage figure, just like with a lot of the Saga Legends and Mission Series type figures. But it does look good. The paint and coloration on it is very simple. The sculpting on it is quite good, and it does come with one accessory. And it's an inexpensive way to get a Bossk figure, providing that you are able to find one in stores. Give you a close-up at his handsome, grinning face. Very cool-looking figure. It's very simplistic. I don't really expect a whole lot more than what this turned out to be. It looks pretty good. The sculpt work is definitely there. The eyes are, pretty orange. The teeth look pretty detailed. The detail in his skin here on his head is quite good, and definitely some definition to it. The outfit looks also quite good, pretty nicely sculpted and detailed. Like I said, very simplistic, and very nice texturing on his arms and on his legs. Is one of those characters that Hasbro tends to get right every time they do it, and this is a figure that is no exception. Pretty nicely done. I like the coloration on it. Definitely has like an old school feel, coloring, the shades of yellow that they used on there. And even the coloration of like this kind of olive looking brownish kind of thing for the head, and the other bits of skin looks quite good. In the way of articulation, of course, 5 points, silver at the head, silvers at the shoulders, and then silvers at both of the hips. In the way of accessories, you get a blaster with IG-88, which looks a lot like the one that the vintage figure came with, and I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. But, very simplistic. There's not a whole lot going on with this. It's basically just a black gun. And now I will bring in the vintage, the Saga Collection Bossk right here that came out in 2007, and that was supposed to be Hasbro's high-quality Bossk figure with all the articulation and bells and whistles and so forth. And as you can see, it's much more detailed than this newer Mission Series Bossk. The flight suit is very pale in comparison, and no pun intended there, but it's very light, and lighter than it really should be, because I think this is a lot closer to the film, I think. But there's no doubt that this one is definitely much more detailed. It looks really good. This is definitely the best Bossk figure that money can buy, and it's just very nicely articulated with all the ball hinging, the torso, and the shoulders, and all the nice sculpted little bits here that are separate from the actual figure. Different gun that has a strap on it. Just an all-around nicer figure. So if you get the opportunity to get this Bossk, it's definitely a better way to go than the Mission Series one. But if you're more of a casual collector and you just want a Bossk, then I think you'll be pretty pleased with that one. Alright, you guys, and here's what I mean here. This is the vintage Bossk figure. I think this one is from, let's see here, I think this one's from 1980? Yeah, 1980. As you can see, it's a very similar looking figure. You can definitely see the throwback aesthetics to the vintage one. Even the coloration is more similar between the Mission Series Bossk and the vintage one compared to the vintage Saga Collection one back there. It's a very neutral Bossk figure. It is certainly an update to that, but like I was saying, even the gun, is pretty simple, like the way that they designed it, it's very similar. It's clear that Hasbro is taking influence from the old Kenner figures, which is cool, But if you're into super articulation, just definitely pass up on that Bossk because, you're going to appreciate the other one a lot more. And moving right along to everybody's favorite Tin Man, IG-88. As you can see, IG-88 is a pretty nicely looking figure, even for a Saga Legends / Mission Series type figure. Like with Bossk, I think that IG-88 is one of those figures that Hasbro tends to get right every time they release it, and this year is no exception. It looks very nice. Sculpting on it is nicely done, coloration and paintwork, very nice, very metallic looking. And yeah, it is pretty simplistic with the 5 points and all, but I think it's a pretty nice figure. Give y'all a close-up here of the head. As you can see, it looks to be pretty good. Pretty nicely detailed there. You get some little red dots there along the head, which is accurate. And this is closed up, that little opening. Usually you have that opened up, at least like on the 6-inch Black Series figure. That was just an open hole. But, I mean, by and large, it looks quite good. Pretty nicely detailed there in the torso. And with the bandolier, though it is sculpted to the torso. Arms and legs also look quite nice on this IG-88 figure. And like I was saying, very metallic look to the paint. It's definitely got kind of like a, shiny look to it, with the way they painted it. The feet look really nice on it. Different kind of coloring on it. It's not all the same color, as you can see, different levels of shininess. So, good job on Hasbro's part for at least, giving it that much level of detail, because it could have just been all one color. And the way of articulation, IG-88 has the 5 points. You get a silver at the head, silvers at both of the shoulders, and then silvers at both of the hips. IG-88 also comes with a very long blaster rifle, and it's pretty good. It's a little more detailed than Bossk's weapon, and it's pretty consistent with what we've seen IG-88 come with in the past as far as his weaponry goes. But this is all you get. You don't get anything addition with IG-88. Now, he does hold the blaster quite nicely in the left hand. As you can see, it's, pretty easy for him to grip the, the gun. This other hand, for some reason, is just very largely opened. I don't really know what the intent was. The only thing I can think is that, you can kind of just put the gun in there, like, at an angle. Or, so you can hold it vertically. And that's the only thing that really makes sense to me, because I don't know why else they would have given him such an opened hand like that with really long fingers. Okay, now we'll go ahead and bring in the Vintage The Saga Collection IG-88 right there from 2007, which came out in the same exact wave as the Vintage The Saga Collection Bossk that we just looked at. And as you can see, the new IG-88 is just way too short. Aren't you a little short for IG-88? Aren't you a little young for a pantsuit? I'm not sure what Hasbro's reasoning was for shrinking down IG-88 this significantly, but he's at least, I would say, like a good 25% smaller than the old one. So, probably it was for budget reasons, I would assume. It still looks good, but as you can see, it's not anywhere near as accurate to how big it should be, because this is, obviously a taller figure, and they're within the same 3¼ inch scale. Of course, the coloration on the more articulated one is, far duller. I think the coloration on the new one's actually a little bit better, I think. But there's no denying that, this older one just has him beat in the way of detail. There's just a lot more going on there. Separate pieces that are attached to the main figure, all the hoses and wiring and everything. It's just a much nicer looking figure in terms of detail. Not to mention the fact that, it has a lot of nice articulation. You get all this fancy stuff here. You can bend his torso, and he even has ball joints, at his elbows. And like the 6-inch one, he also comes with a holster there in the back where you can put his other gun, and you have a little vibro axe that you can place there, attached into the holster. So while the older one isn't a perfect figure, I do think that it is a far better option if you want to prioritize in terms of super articulation. The new one is, like I said, with Bossk, if you're just a casual collector, you just want to have an IG-88, then that's a good way to go. But, if you're more hardcore and you want the articulated, more detailed figure, then, definitely try and get the older IG-88 figure. And just for good measure, I will go ahead and bring in the Saga Legends Boba Fett that came out at the very end of 2013. As you can see, it is pretty big compared to IG-88 and even to Bossk. I just feel like either Boba's too big, or more likely, Bossk and IG-88 are just too small. He's just way too buff looking, even though these are supposed to be in the exact same line. And, they're all supposed to be the same scale because they're all 5-point of articulation, Saga Legends style. So, a little disappointing that they kind of shrunk these two characters down, it seems. But I guess with what Hasbro's been doing with, budgets and, going cheaper on a lot of things, not just Star Wars, but other brands as well, I suppose it's to be expected. And I will be going a little more in depth on this in a subsequent review, and you will want to stay tuned for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Star Wars Mission Series Bossk and IG-88 2-pack. Overall, it's an okay set. It certainly follows the formula Hasbro's been utilizing for Saga Legends and Mission Series. If that's your thing, and I think they're pretty fun, then you're probably going to like this set. If you're more into the super articulated figures that are more detailed, then skip these guys because you can do a lot better with those other figures I showed you. But these are budget figures. This pack cost $10, when it was available in stores, which is a really good deal for what you're getting here. They're decent figures. They're not all bad, but they're not anywhere near as nice as the older versions of those figures. All right, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, then I do encourage you to please like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments if you have this set or if you're planning on picking it up or what you think about them. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, and as always, I want to thank you for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.